It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K and
Steph Beckett.
we're coming to you live as we do every single week for rAVe TV, which is the industry's only weekly live TV show. It is the week between Christmas and New Year's, as everyone knows. So some people are out on holiday, some people are working.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had two conference calls today, and there's a lot of people still working this week, Steph.
It's very wild. I know that we're kind of not really working. Like, this is like our one thing that we had to get done this week. So we were like, okay, well, we'll just hop on. But, I just don't feel like a lot happens this week,
Yeah, I think it depends. I mean, we have clients all over the world, and a lot of countries are still kind of not on holiday, right? I mean, they're going to celebrate New Year's, but they didn't celebrate Christmas, and
That's true.
And so business still goes on. I had, like I said, a couple of conference calls today, but who knows who's watching this? Maybe nobody's watching this. Maybe we're just watching it ourselves. But if you are watching it, comment on our socials and tell us what you think. We do this weekly TV show. We appreciate the audience. We've been doing it for over 2 years. I'm not even sure what episode we're on. Do you know, Steph, by any chance?
143.
Yeah,
Okay.
143. There you go. Our producer,
Great.
Carrie, just gave us the 143.
That's crazy.
That is
we've
crazy.
Done this many of these.
That means we're almost at 3 years.
Yeah. We started this kind of at the beginning of COVID. So,
yeah.
Very
That's
interesting.
true.
That's wild.
It's been a while
that we've done this for so long. So, Gary, did you have a good Christmas?
I did. I went and saw my youngest daughter, and was with her for almost a week, and then I'm flying tomorrow to see my oldest daughter.
Wait, you're going? Wait, is she in Thailand right now?
Yeah, she's in Thailand. I'm gonna see her for about a week, and then so I'm being as a lot of people have to travel all around on Christmas. Don't get to spend much time at home, but such is the life when you have older kids. What about you, Steph? I know that you and I are from the same hometown. I know both of us went to our hometown over the holidays, which is, by the way, when we say hometown, our hometown has a grocery store, a gas station, a place where all the teenagers hang out, and not much else.
Where do all the teenagers hang out?
Well, we used to hang out at the Dairy Queen, or it was actually called the Dairy Freeze. I don't know if it's still called
I don't
the
think,
Dairy
do
Freeze.
we have a Dairy Queen anymore?
I think it was the Dairy Freeze back then. But that's where we hung out. I don't know, when you were a teenager, where did you hang out?
At the Sunny Skies, the ice cream place.
There you go. See? It went from one ice cream place to the other ice cream place. That's right. Sunny Skies is actually good.
It's good. It's homemade. It's homemade ice cream. And they have 100 flavors, and it's been in the news a lot because they had a ghost pepper ice cream that you had to sign a waiver to try. So
I didn't try it.
Good ice.
I would try that.
I think I tried it. It was hot. I feel like we did the wings.
Gift cards last forever. I got a gift card 5 years ago. I just found.
Do you just find?
Do they last forever, or do you have to
I think they last forever because it's money. It just doesn't,
All right.
Money doesn't disappear.
I got free money.
Great. That's amazing. Well, I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, yes. By the way, thank you to Kelsey for my shirt.
It's so good.
It's a mesh of Star Wars and Barbie. If you don't get the reference, then I don't know what to say. But
I guess you just haven't been on the internet.
It's amazing. Two of my favorite shirts have come from you and Kelsey. I love this shirt. I like the colors on it.
The Office Secret Santa is actually, we all go really crazy, try to do a good job at gifts for each other. And once again, this year, everybody did a really good job.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And I also got a ornament that is, I would say, an insider ornament about Star Wars. Definitely an insider ornament.
That's not for casual fans of Star Wars.
Exactly.
If you were alive in 1978, or if you just are a Star Wars nerd, then you might remember that there was a really weird holiday special where Chewie goes to find his family. And it was so bad, and it got such horrible reviews that they never aired it again. And everyone tried to pretend it didn't exist.
It was about, they went to Chewie's family and
Yeah.
met Chewie's wife and Chewie's kids. It was really
Yeah.
hokey.
And then on the
poor
like
Harrison Ford had
planet,
to act like he was interested, and he
that's
hated
so
it.
embarrassing.
I don't think you can even find it online anywhere. I think
No,
pieces of it are online.
yeah, I think that everyone just tries to pretend it doesn't exist. But Kelsey found an ornament that has like Han Solo and
Reference.
Chewie, and it's like Life
Yeah.
Day, which is what they were celebrating on Chewie's planet,
Yeah.
apparently. So it's that's like a deep like Star Wars reference.
It is, and I like deep references. So, and I did get lots of Star Wars things for Christmas. So,
No,
very
you
happy.
always do. I feel like that's like
Mhm.
the one thing everyone knows that you're gonna like.
My kids too. I mean, like
Yeah.
they when they don't know what to get me, they just go find something with Star Wars on it, and then they're fine.
Yeah. And
So,
but
but
my big gift this year was everyone got me a vinyl record because everyone was like,
did you
"Oh,
get a record? That's right,
Stephen."
you got a record player, yeah. So
Stephen
which
really
records
into-
are your favorite? Give me your top two.
Ooh, I found one a couple months ago in this little record store in Charlotte, and it was an original pressing from, oh god, I don't want to say 1974 of Boston's first album, and that
The one with the
is
spaceship on it,
mm-hmm,
has a flying saucer on it.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great album. I
an
forget what it was called.
original press. I
I
think
think
it was just
called
self-titled.
Boston.
Yeah.
I think it was just
Yep.
called Boston, but it had has flying saucer on the front of it with wild colors, and yeah, that's a great.
And in
More
my
Than a
opinion,
Feeling.
yes, in my opinion, like that is like a perfect album. Like that's no skips. Like you play it front to back. It's such a good album.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's a great 70s sound, right? That's
mhm.
like the perfect 70s sound, right? Other
Yes.
than it has all the instrumentation and the keyboard, but also the guitar, and
Yes.
yeah, but that's good. So Boston's one. What's the other?
Mhm. I have this other one that's kind of rare. It's not super rare. Like it's like today things are just easy to find. But this
Yeah.
was like a live recording of Electric Light Orchestra when they did a concert
Yellow.
in Long Beach.
Uh-huh.
And the concert went really badly because
Oh.
their like truck broke down, their equipment wasn't working, so it doesn't actually sound that good. But at the time, I don't even remember when this concert happened. I think sometime also in the early 70s or mid 70s, maybe.
I would say ELO would have been like late 70s.
Yeah,
really
it was because
early
it was
80s.
early in their careers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe late 70s then. And so everything went wrong. This recording sounds like shit, respectfully, but it was like rare at the time. Like collectors.
So it's like a cult, kind of a
Mhm.
cult album.
They
Yeah.
only released this record in Europe. So my copy, I think, is
Oh.
from the Netherlands.
So you don't have a reprint. You have the actual original.
Mhm.
Wow, very cool.
Yep. So
Very cool. I wish I'd have kept all mine. I
been,
threw mine away, or I think I gave them all away. I don't.
that's what my dad said too. He was like, "Oh, I would have loved to like be able to give you my like original like Van Halen's and my Kiss records that my grandma used to call devil music." So
Here's the only album I kept, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah,
is this one, which is the original orchestra
that's
production of the movie, and this is the original album here inside here.
Oh, that's
20th
cool.
Century Fox, before they had their current logo. And
I'm sure that's worth like money now.
Probably. And it has the original credit sheet
notes.
and each of the people that played for the London Symphony.
That's cool.
So this is the original soundtrack for the original movie in 1977.
That's awesome. For my dad's Christmas present, he's into vinyl too. I got him a repress, but it's like a cool repressing of the Home Alone score.
Sorry, everything is falling as I put that back. Home Alone?
Yeah, like the score. Like, you know how Home Alone has a really, really pretty score?
It does.
I got him like a cool pressing on like heavyweight, like 140 gram vinyl for Christmas. And he was like, where'd you find this? It's so cool. Cause like the cover looks like the front of the Home Alone house. So cool.
So do you know that there's a story? Home Alone 2 actually happened last week. Did you hear about this?
Oh my gosh,
About a
that
kid
someone put their kid on a wrong
6-year-old got put on a wrong flight. The kid was supposed to go to Orlando, but went to Fort Lauderdale instead. I think it was Spirit.
Sure.
I think it was Spirit.
Yeah, of course that would happen on Spirit.
Yeah. Their comment was interesting. It was like, the kid was never in any danger. We had him the whole time. We just made a mistake as to which flight to put him on.
But also like he was an unaccompanied minor, which like is
that's
that
young.
even
that's young
to be an unaccompanied minor?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would probably not. I mean, I'm not in that situation, but I can't imagine putting my kid on. I think
the first time my sister flew unaccompanied, she was like 12, 13.
I didn't know you could at 6. I thought you had to be older.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, there is news, believe it or not, that happened this week, and we want to cover the news. The first story we have for the day is AppSpace, which is based here in North Carolina. I think the headquarters in North Carolina, and Crestron have partnered for a better desk booking solution. You know, of course, AppSpace, the software booking company, but also does project management and things like that. But they've partnered with Crestron to put out a better desk booking system, which obviously hot desking is becoming popular, where people walk into a co-working space. In fact, I did it. Carrie booked a space for me when I was in, where was I? Wherever I was. I was in Greenville. No, was I in Greenville? No, Chicago. I was in Chicago. And she booked a space for me, and they actually had like a little electronic sign there and a space set aside for me that had my name on it and the time that it was for, which was really kind of cool. I think it was Chicago. Is it either Chicago? It was Chicago. Yeah. So, you know, and I couldn't see the brand of it because it was very small, and I think it was just a no-name brand. But I think there's going to be a lot more of this kind of stuff, and even in companies where they're going to have. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see regular office spaces in companies, but also co-working spaces in companies. I think the concept of co-working and having, say you're a company, you know, when I was at Extron, we say we had 500 employees, we had 500 offices, but not really, but we had, you know, everyone had an office, and then people who worked together had an office. Nowadays, I imagine that if they had 500 people in a building, they might have 100 offices and 400 co-working spaces so that people can kind of work wherever they want. Plus, less people are showing up to work regularly. So, but and the other story I think
put that in Kay's crystal ball.
Ooh, I should. Let me make
write that down.
I'll talk about that. Make it because I have my little file here. Hot desking in work spaces. Okay, so thank you, staff, for reminding me. The other story that I thought was kind of interesting that you put up here up front, Steph, is that the space. The halls, I think it's 6 big halls, or is it 8 big halls at ISE? There's 8 big halls.
7 or 8.
And they're about to sell out, which means that ISE 2024 will be like all the other ISEs before the pandemic. And I know people are tired of hearing about this, but that's a big indicator. The main thing I'm excited about here is that for a year, everybody's been talking about how there's going to be a recession and how Europe is in worse condition than the US. Well, the fact that they're selling out the space and they didn't ever go into a bad recession bodes well for 2024. So I think that means that 2024 could be actually a much better year than I think a lot of people are predicting, even the sort of like mainstream economists. The question is how much of our business is tied to the financial markets versus not. That's the financial markets are going to get squeezed, but the government's going to spend more money.
Right.
And normal companies, if they can get money, will spend more money. That's the biggest thing. Is
when was the last time ISE like almost sold out or sold out?
Well, they sold out like 3 years in a row in Amsterdam, 2016, 17, 18, or 17, 18, 19. And that's why they moved it to Barcelona. They were like, we're putting up these tents outside. If you remember, well, actually you didn't go, but there was they had 15, 17 halls, I think it is. But then they put 2 big tented halls in the front of the convention center for the last 3 years of the show, which meant it was oversold. And it was hard to get a hotel. We luckily had a relationship there, but I think this is going to be great. And obviously the convention center can hold more, because you remember last year there was another convention going on while ours was going on. So even though they have those 8 halls, there was a cybersecurity show going on at the same time as our show. So technically they could grow even more in 2025, potentially, I guess, unless Carrie said something, but she muted herself while she was talking. Oh, they are using the halls. Okay, so they are filling up. So that means they'll take over where the cybersecurity show was, which means that it can't get much bigger, I guess.
Yeah, very interesting. We'll just have to see how it goes. Do you think they would ever move again if it got too big?
I don't know where they would go. The only other place to go is where CeBIT is held in Germany, which is Hanover. That's the only bigger convention center in Europe.
Oh, Carrie just said it. She thinks it's like a 10-year contract.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I mean, to break a contract like that would cost a lot of money. Yeah. But and everyone's kind of gets used to a place. But so we got a quick ad on the MXA 920 that we'd like for you to watch that talks specifically about how they're helping. The audio product is helping camera tracking in that application. So check this out from Shure, one of our sponsors.
A camera tracking system can help all participants to have an equally effective communication experience. But without precise location data from the microphone, inaccurate camera views and movements can leave far-end participants feeling frustrated and fatigued. The MXA 920 ceiling array makes great camera tracking easy. With its multi-zone automatic coverage technology, it's easy to define the areas that you want to hear and see. Built-in voice activity detection ensures that unwanted room noises from keyboards or chip bags won't trigger a camera movement. The MXA 920 identifies each talker's precise location in real time with X, Y, and Z coordinates. These X, Y, and Z coordinates enable the camera system to frame a single person at a distance or capture simultaneous talkers. Unlike other array microphones that can only assign one camera preset per lobe, the MXA 920 can identify an almost infinite number of talker positions to support a totally fluid automatic tracking system either with or without presets. Even in larger rooms with multiple microphones and cameras, the MXA 920 accurately identifies who's talking and where they are in the room, so that the camera system always shows the right person at the right time. The MXA 920's API allows it to be integrated with all kinds of camera tracking systems, whether they're hardware or software-based, with one camera or multiple cameras. Learn how the Microflex Advance MXA 920 can enable a premium video conferencing experience in your meeting room.
Okay. So let's go to the next piece of news. Gary, this is on Extron's newest couple of products, the ZRTP Pro 1025 and ZRTP Pro 725.
Yeah, they're Zoom Room controllers, and ultimately they're finally in the UC market pretty solidly. They came out with, you remember they came out with the USB switcher a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it would compete with wired applications inside of meeting rooms. So you have connect up one USB cable and it would connect the microphone, speaker, and the camera to your device and turn it into a Zoom Room or Teams Room. Well, this is a Zoom Room controller panel, which ultimately could be used as a Teams Room controller panel too. And they have different sizes and colors and resolutions. But yeah, so that means it's obvious that Extron's moving in the direction of embracing UC faster than they have in the past. And another story is Focusrite. It's interesting how some of the companies that are kind of on the fringe of our market, like a lot, if you're in the rental staging market, you know Focusrite really well. And now they've added Dante, where they have a card, a PCI card, which allows for Dante in their ecosystem with a capacity of 128 channels. So that's a pretty big deal if you're doing live events and or you're doing production of an event. So that's that's an interesting development in our market. I think it means that a lot of the live events companies are going to start seeing more Dante signal routing and using Dante Domain Manager. I think that indicates that as a future. I mean, it's been there for a while, but whenever you're putting something on a network like that, you worry about the delay, right?
Yeah.
But now this means that, hey, you're getting sort of certified with Focusrite. You're getting certified by a big brand that does live, that's saying this is good enough. So there you go.
It's interesting. Another one of our sponsors and partners who we are very grateful for is rAVe. They actually have an ebook that you can download for the low price of completely free. And this is all about taking strategically deployed AV systems that you've designed and helping you put people first and repeat that success across an entire enterprise. So read the ebook, download it now. You can scan the QR code down at the bottom left, and you can learn how to leverage rAVe solutions to save time, money, and more for your mass deployment efforts.
So, did you read Lee DeStad's article on do-it-yourself control system? I mean, this is an interesting issue because I have this issue with my own house. Like, I don't have a house, nor do I have the money to buy a fully automated house, right? I don't want to spend the money that it would take to do a smart home, but I have done the Apple / Alexa smart house, right? Okay. And but you kind of want. I won't mention a name, but somebody big in our industry, who's a VP of a big display company, called me the other day and said, what home system can I find a remote control that can control this? Because I still have 3 remotes in my living room. I'm like, dude, when you go to work next time, walk across the hall to your consumer team and tell them this problem, because you're a good example of a company that could solve this problem, because there's a lot of us out there that have this problem, right? So this is not, he's not alone. We're not alone in this. There's nothing in between the Alexa, Apple, and the high-end products, right?
So basically, like, Lee's whole point in this article is that, like, there are many smart products, control products for your house out there that are like works with Alexa and Google Home and works with Siri and works with that, but like works with is like, what does that mean? Like, like with works with, like a lot of times it means like it barely works.
And you have to download a separate app to get it to work with it. So what happens is Sync is a good example of that, which I love their lighting, which is what used to be called GE lighting, which is now owned by Savant. So if you can actually get, remote controllable light strips, LED strips like the one I have back here, and light bulbs. Even I have remote control light bulbs. You have to download the Sync app and then sync that with Alexa. If you get rid of the Sync app, it no longer works. So you have apps talking together, and so there's limited functionality. You can't do all the adjustment inside the Alexa app. You have to do it in the Sync app to get the right color that you want. So and I'm not saying they're doing the wrong thing.
Make an app that just controls all the other apps and is like, this app will make everything work.
Apple is saying this is what we're going to do, but they haven't done it yet. And I don't know that they can, because they kind of, you have to build to their standards, right? I mean, I don't know if you've seen, Steph, but there's only 2 cars. One's a truck and one's a car. I forget which one's that. I think Porsche is the car. And there's a very high-end truck that uses the new Apple CarPlay. So the new Apple Car, it's a similar situation. Everyone can plug in their phone nowadays to their car, and you get the certain interface where you can, for entertainment, navigation. But the new interface with CarPlay, which I think is CarPlay 2, if you're a car manufacturer and you buy into it, then you're buying into them taking control of everything. So when you plug it in, the dash becomes Apple control. Like you have an Apple interface, and you should Google it. It's right nice. I use it. I'm going to talk about my crystal ball, but it basically takes over the speedometer, the odometer, your gas. Like, so your LED becomes completely controlled by Apple rather than the one that Chevrolet or one that Porsche provided, right? That's what ends up having to happen when the home is what you have to buy into all of Apple's hooks. So it's either going to kind of work like the way everyone's works now, which might be good enough for most people. Or if you want the true experience. So what's the advantage of that true experience? Well, then you have a more integrated dash. Like instead of having your entertainment over here, it's all over the place, right? You have this sort of thing. And they use all the the pixels, right? To fill all the pixels with, and you can move things around. So you don't like your speedometer here, you can just move it around, right? Same thing with the home is like they'd have to buy into all the hooks. And so what GE's done with Sync is program it all with Sync, but then turn it on and off and make it automate it with the Alexa. Say, Alexa, turn on my lights, right? And it'll just do that. So that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off of do it yourself. So
and
anyway.
I'm not doing all that. I'll just turn it on myself with my hands. So
yeah, and one of the companies that we've worked closely with over the years is Almo ProAV, now called Exertis Almo, and Almo Corporation, which still exists. That's the holding company for all of Almo. Every year they do a big charity drive, and of course this year they added Swim with Purpose, which is Sam Taylor's nonprofit, to that, where they match donations, and then also all the people in the company participate in raising money for these different foundations. We have a story on our website. This sort of like giving back story. A lot of companies do this all during the year. This is a great thing, I think, that they do, and I'm very excited to see what happens with Sam Taylor Swim with Purpose. Obviously, I have an affinity with that myself, so we shout out to them. We have a story about that on our website if you want to know what they raised and who they did it for this year. And thank you for our third sponsor in 2023. All year long, we had 3 sponsors. Shure, we had Legrand, and we also have rAVe. And rAVe's been developing and producing visual collaboration products for almost 20 years, believe it or not. Their OEM team can help you with your communications need with OEM services. So, for example, if you're an integrator and you want to have a custom-made product specifically for an application where you have a university wants to deploy them university-wide, they can do that. They have a lot of OEM capabilities out there where you're doing, larger volume custom off products, or if you want to integrate it. Let's imagine that you're building a podium or a lectern, and you want to integrate maybe one of their document cameras into that. Then they can do that. They'll sell you that as an OEM product, so you can white label it with whatever you want on there. So if you want to learn more about that, you can just go to averyusa.com/OEM. So that's OEM's original equipment manufacturer. Basically just means you're buying somebody else's product, put your own name on it. If you want to put your own name on it, you can keep the rAVe name on there if you want. So
cool.
Yeah.
We got a couple case studies, which that's a lot of what I'm being sent this week is like case studies.
Yeah. I noticed that too.
Museum X in Korea. This is a museum, and they've partnered with Christie Projectors for an immersive exhibition space, which is kind of the Museum X is a museum that's got digital media, art, and technology. It's in South Korea, in Sokcho, I think you pronounce it. And it's basically like what they're calling it is an immersive new media playground. So it's got a lot of tourists and a lot of locals who go there, and there's like 4 zones and 16 experiential facilities where people can look at some bright exhibits, and they show a few different themes. So Christie supplied 34 laser projectors, the 4K 7HS and with 4K UHD resolution. And then it's Inspire series, a couple of models there too. So very interesting. If you want to see what else they use to make this exhibition happen, you can read the full case study on ravepubs.com.
Excellent. And we have another case study. Atlas IED sent us one about how they're using sound masking in a regular office environment and sort of how that can help out. I mean, everyone knows what sound masking is and the value of sound masking, which is simply, anywhere you have, you want to have private conversations or you just want to sort of have ambient noise that does not include HVAC turning on and off and fans going on and off and other electronic equipment sort of drowns it out with white noise, brown noise, green noise, whatever noise you want to use. Atlas IED has a product specifically for that. They make a white noise product, or I should say a noise, an ambient noise product, or what we call a sound masking product. And you can check all that out on their website at atlasied.com. Of course, look at the case study there because it's for a co-working space and sort of how they're trying to mask the conversations in a co-working space.
Yeah.
Is that all we got today, Steph, or you got one other
Well,
thing?
last reminder, we are having a launch and learn on mass notification systems. This is big for the security people out there. This is big for the AV people out there because AV and security, we are becoming one and the same. I'm excited for ISC because I think that's going to further prove that point. I think we're going to see a lot of security solutions there this year. But yes, this is on January 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We are very thankful to be partnering with NSCA for this event. So it is going to be really cool. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about mass notification systems. So if you're just kind of getting into that side of this security mass notification market for whatever reason, if you're wanting to spec that for a school, for a church or house of worship, lots of people are asking for this right now. So this is going to be a really helpful event, and we hope you will come. You can go ahead and sign up at launch.com, and that is LAVNCH.com.
Thank you very much. And Steph, I have enjoyed this entire year. Carrie, thank you very much for producing probably 98% of these shows as we've done in 2023. And it's been awesome. Looking forward to 2024. And thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Happy New Year, everybody.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.